Hello and welcome to Ley Lion's Conscious Conversations and Connections with incredible people doing just magical things for humanity. Today, I am so blessed to have with me a fellow sister, a fellow friend, someone that I've been working and am about to work very closely with, Brie Reichman. And she is the founder, the mentor, there are so many names for you, but the founder of Indi Active. And I am just so grateful to have you here today. Thank you, Brie.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you for having me. It's such a privilege to be here speaking with you today.
It's exciting, and there is a reason why I wanted to get you on today, which we'll get to eventually. But I just wanted to tell everybody here before we even begin this. Brie she is just love on legs. I tend to sort of attract people that are love on legs, which I love for myself, but has got the most beautiful, gentle, loving, but also hyped personality, and has just gone and is creating a better world for people with what she has to offer them. So there are so many things that you do offer. I'd love you to just go into what you are known for.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Sammy. I'm fully receiving everything that you just said. That means so much to me. So I'm known for transforming women, not just physically, but also mentally. I'm known to be the Indi Active creator. So as you mentioned, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, but I also host women's wellness retreats for empowered women or women who are simply just looking to escape the hustle and the grind of the chaotic lifestyle that it can often be for so many. But overall, I am just a conduit for life. Like, I'm here to serve people. I'm here to add value, and most importantly, be the most highest version of myself to the best I can be every day.
Yeah, and I think probably the most authentic version of yourself too, because you are. In every moment that I speak with you, it is authenticity. And I think this is probably something that is kind of lacking in the world sometimes. And to be able to be in the presence of your authenticity and also your excitement for life, considering, I've jumped onto your website and spoken with you on occasions, and the rise to who you are and who you are still becoming has been one that has not always been easy. It hasn't been like this nice little straight journey to get to who you are.
Not at
And
all.
yeah. So I would love it if you could tell everybody just a little bit of your story. I want people to be able to really relate to who you are and how you've come to this journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a beautiful journey it has been now reflecting on it. So my journey started a bit different to like a lot of people's journey. So the first adversity that I ever faced was actually losing both of my parents at a very, very young age. At an age that I was far too young to understand what was going on, what was happening, but I knew energetically that there was so many uncomfortable shifts happening and a lot of abandonment issues, a lot of self-worth issues. As you know, between the ages of 0 to 7, that's when we become most conditioned in life. And for me, that meant, a lot of unstable foundations, quite rocky growth growing up. I grew up with epilepsy, which, is a form of neuron. It's like I don't want to call it a disease, but you could say it's a learning disability in a way. Um, but fortunate enough for my sister and we were able and had the opportunity to grow up with our grandparents. So I actually see that as one of the biggest blessings that has come into our lives, because, there's a lot of people in life that don't have that relationship with their grandparents like we got to have, and we had a really beautiful childhood growing up. We were given opportunities. We didn't miss out on too much. If anything, we actually got given so many opportunities that it kept our nan and pa on their toes and quite fit and active as older, you could say, parents as well, bringing up 2 children. So, you know, that was probably the first adversity that I faced as a youngster. Like I mentioned, that couldn't understand why or what happened, and didn't really know the full story until I started putting pieces of the puzzle together as I got older, which again was very confronting. It was very unsettling, you know, growing up. I'm sure a lot of people could probably relate to this. It's like, you know, you can't express your emotions, or if you're going to cry, go to your room, or big girls don't cry. So, you know, it was common for us to just suppress our emotions and just, you know, bottle it all up and deal with it at a later date, which affected us later in life. You know, there was things that started to be expressed in my own personality, like anger and a lot of frustration, and, you know, getting up in my head quite a lot. And all of that started building up, which I guess I could say forced me into the healing journey, because I was experiencing terrible IBS. I was always bloated. I always had terrible acne. And as they say, our body is always going to express what our mind suppresses. So I started taking more of the holistic approach to my healing journey, which took me down this beautiful road of Reiki teaching and coaching, and you know, me actually going to get Reiki sessions and whatnot, which I actually found a lot more empowering, being able to somewhat work it out for myself with others without relying or having to rely on pharmaceutical products or the medical system, you know. And for me, like I said, that was a lot more empowering. So, I mean, as much as I'm grateful for the studies and the pharmaceuticals and all that sort of thing, especially going through epilepsy and being able to know all the research, I think it had a time and place. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a rabbit hole that we could probably explore later. But the other 2 things were 2 knee reconstructions coming through my netball career. And I think that was probably what sat me on my bum and made me really look at my life and see what direction I really wanted to go and how I was showing up in life. And yeah, it really taught me some really strong foundations of authenticity, who I want to be, my values. It gave me an opportunity to grow my business, Indi Active. So yeah, that's a bit of the adversity that I've faced. And, you know, like, no one has a smooth sailing life, which, you know, I believe all of that does make me who I am today, but it doesn't define who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I always stick by the saying that our shadows are actually what brings our light. So, I mean, you have had to live and in adversity. You have had to go through and already do shadow work, which is continuous. It will continue, sorry to say,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're free and it's still happening. But if we can go and sit in that shadow, if we can go and sit in the experiences that aren't so delicious and delightful for our body, this is what ends up happening. Because look at you now, from your feelings of perhaps this encounter at some time or another, it has gone and placed you in or on a road to empowering others. And this is how people are actually, they enroll in what it is that you do, because we all want to see that people have had life experience. It's just for some reason, human nature, we want to see, what is your credentials? What is it that you've done that can show me that you can help me? And I think, you know, definitely your story, your life story, has been one of you rising from quite huge trauma
Absolutely.
and going through formative years where, thank goodness, you did have beautiful grandparents that have been able to go and raise and guide you. But of course, you've still had to navigate your life anyway, and had to navigate the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, all of those things to reach to where you are now. I just want to ask about your grandparents, because I loved my grandparents, but I don't have any here anymore. Is there one lesson that you can think of that they have given you that has led you to where you are now?
Oh, that is a juicy question. One of the best questions I think I've ever been asked. And the first thing that came up for me when you asked me that was having the ability to be able to speak and hold my ground with any human, no matter what phase they're in life, no matter what age they are or what they do for a job. Like, I can happily go and have a beautiful conversation with a stranger down the road. Like, and I can freely be able to talk about things that feel really in alignment with those kind of people. And this is probably something that I pulled from my nan, because I remember growing up, we would go down the street, and it wasn't just to grab like a bottle of milk. Like, it was going to be like a 2-hour journey just to go down to get like a bottle of milk or something, because she'd be talking to everyone and saying hi and wanting to connect. So yeah, I'd probably say that's the biggest thing, being able to connect with others on a deeper level than just, hey, how are you? Good, see ya, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I know I'm the same. When I am going somewhere, I expect that I'll probably at least see one person. And I always ask, and I don't know if this is something that you do, when I leave the house, I say, let me connect with someone today that needs something from me, or I need something from them, some sort of wisdom. So that's beautiful. I love that. Are your grandparents still here?
No, my pa passed away a few years ago, and as you can imagine, he was like my father figure, and
Yeah.
you could say he was my best friend. We had a really special bond. Yeah, so he'll always be my heart, but I also know that he's with me more than I realize. But my nan, she is still here. She's actually 84 and got the best personality and very sassy. So yeah, I count my blessings to have the ability just to be able to call her anytime, anywhere, and just have a chat about anything. And she keeps me super grounded, like so grounded.
Mm.
Yeah.
And isn't it beautiful that, although you don't have your parents with you, no matter what, you have family. But that extends a little bit further for you too, and for me, but we're talking about you today, into the Indie Active family. So you have done a number of retreats now, which I'm going to, in a second, we'll find out how many you've done and what you've done. But during the during the adventure of Indie Active, these retreats have started to create family, people that are coming more than once, or people that are bringing in their loved ones, their sisters, their friends to come and experience the magic that you've created. So there's an Indie Active family, even between us as facilitators. We're a family as well. We've got a little family chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's I want to thank your grandmother, because I'm hoping she'll watch this or she'll listen to this, for instilling in you this sense of family, which is now extended out to you bringing in tribe, the Indie Active tribe.
Yeah.
So the brainchild of Indie Active tribe, where did this come from?
Oh, I could take this so many ways, but it's really interesting when we reflect on life. And I am such a big reflector. It's one of my values, is to reflect on life, be very self-aware, and all these sort of things. And probably before I realized what I had created, I probably created a family that um I love my family, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything, but there comes a point where you do sometimes feel like a bit of an outlier in the family, or even friendship groups. Like at school, I kind of felt like the outsider in ways. And, sometimes even in my netball teams, I was always the outsider. Any events that I often go to, I never felt like a part of like the clique or the group. Like I was always kind of spreading my wings everywhere and wanting to chat with people. And I even remember at my birthday parties, or birthday dinners, I would have friends like from netball, from, travel, from like all these different areas of my life,
Diverse.
which I absolutely love. Um, and from that, I probably pulled people into my life that have created that sense of family for me, and like created my own little my own little family in a way. And they've also evolved with me over time, which is really, really beautiful. And as much as Indie Active, it did start in the early days as a bit of like my side hobby, and it was, you know, me personal training and group training people. It evolved during COVID, where, you know, I pivoted and took the opportunity to go fully online with all of my beautiful clients. And you know, I didn't want to be the typical personal trainer where I kind of like sat out COVID and was like, oh, I'll just rely on JobKeeper to get me through and I'll just, you know, ride the wave. It was like, no, I love my clients. I want to stay connected with my clients. I want to make sure that they're still active during these wild times. Like, it's where it's most needed right now. So, you know, I went out of my way to create an app and still have that community going, and have a Indie Active Health Hub flowing, where we did, you know, weekly fitness sessions or yoga sessions and all these sort of different masterclasses and workshops, which was so much fun. And from there, you know, COVID kind of passed and everyone was starting to crave a bit of that like physical interaction, but I didn't have the urge to want to go back into the gym and slog away and do those hard hours of like 4 a.m. to like 10 a.m. and then back in there at like, you know, 5 p.m. to like 10 p.m. So, you know, I had no urge of doing that, but I had created such a beautiful business where a lot of my clients were happy to stay online. They're happy to continue doing their programs with the app that I had customized. So I was like, okay, but I still want to have that physical interaction with them. So what can I do? And that's where the Indie Active retreats were born. So most of my clients are from Southwest Victoria, or Victoria. That's where I grew up. And so I was like, right, I live in the most beautiful destination. I'm now living on the Gold Coast. How about I create retreats up here, and they can all come up and they can experience it, and they can all meet each other, even though they all pretty much live in the same spot. They can all come up and they can meet my, as well, Queensland family. So the first retreat I hosted was up in Airlie Beach. And this was probably the biggest adversity that I faced in business, as the first retreat was supposed to be in Bali in 2020. It was meant to be a fitness and like kind of a bit of a fitness kind of happy hour vibe going on. And then that got postponed, which was really devastating. But now I'm also like so grateful that that didn't happen, because I knew I probably wasn't ready as a facilitator. I couldn't have given my clients the most amazing experiences what they could have, like, you know, later in life when I've built up that bit more of experience in the team. So yeah, that's probably where it all started and how it's got rolling.
Yeah, and we're up to I don't know what it'd be, 1.2, however many we're up to now, coming up on the 24th of February. I want to go back to the previous one because I've had the absolute pleasure of being able to facilitate or co-facilitate with Brie on the last two Indie Active retreats, which were full day retreats and absolutely magical in every way possible, from the beginning until the end, where you start on the beach at sunrise with guided meditation, guided breath work, an incredible yoga instructor, and then Brie just goes and kills everybody and goes and makes them do a huge workout on the beach. No, but it's fun, and you can see everyone is so excited and hyped, and then there's beautiful food. The whole day is beautiful food. As well, beautiful nutritional food. We should put a plug in Pachamama. Is that right? That was
Yeah.
last time. Oh my gosh. Oh, delicious. Absolutely beautiful. And then everyone moves on to Burley, which I'll get you to talk about in a minute. And the rest of the day then goes and flows, and all of this inspiration comes in. So I've done the first bit about I think I've gone and pretty much given you a vision of your morning. Once we leave the beach, can you go on then and tell us what happens after that from the last retreat?
Absolutely. So the last two retreats we've hosted on the Gold Coast have been full day retreats. And these are, yeah, they, like you mentioned, they're quite action packed, but they're designed to give women a taste of holistic practices. And they're designed, yes, for women to get grounded and get really centered and connect with other women, but also it's a day for them to experiment. What works for them? What do they love? What will they probably not ever do again? And it's an opportunity, it's an invitation for them to take their wellness and their well-being to a whole new level, whilst being exposed to the best of the best facilitators. Like, we have the most amazing team of facilitators, coaches, the lot, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, I pinch myself when I'm like, oh my gosh, like my manifestations are just coming alive, which is really cool. But yeah, once we leave the beach on the full day retreats, we often go straight into a mindset workshop, which is hosted by Justin. He's a holistic therapist. Oh my gosh, he has the most amazing way of being able to explain the mind, explain perspectives, and just you walk away just absolutely mind blown, like with having clear insights of what you need to be doing moving in the next step after the retreat, and plenty of beautiful action steps that are going to be in alignment with who you want to be. And that's probably one of the other things about the retreats is there's always a theme. Like, the first one was unbecoming to become. So encouraging all of our guests to completely open their minds, open their hearts, surrender anything that they think is or anything that should be, and just being open. And I think that's where the biggest transformations really come from all of our guests that come, is just them being like completely open and putting their egos and their minds aside and just experiencing the day. So yeah, normally it goes into a big mindset session, and then we will often go into your breath work or a wellness workshop. So I'll actually be leading the next wellness workshop, which is really cool, at the next retreat, which again gives our guests plenty of insights how to actually navigate quality nutrition, stress levels, optimal health in the workplace, and practical steps to really not be extreme with their health, but to be consistent, and just, habit stacking and talking about the importance of those sort of things. And then, yeah, we normally have lunch, and then we go into your amazing breath work and ice baths, which honestly, for anyone listening to this, and you probably already know how powerful Sammy is, the workshops that you do are amazing. The testimonials, the feedback that we get from the women is just like mind blowing. And when I say like transformations, I actually feel like that word is so light, because it's all about the internal expression that happens within each of these women, and they walk away knowing that they're not controlled by their emotions, and they're not their emotions. They're just expressing their emotions in this session so that they can feel lighter, so they can feel like the world isn't on top of their shoulders. And to combine that with ice baths, which you could probably say majority of the people are very hesitant to do. I actually don't think we've had one person sit out an ice bath during our retreats. Like, they all become really hesitant to start with, and then they can't imagine not doing it after the retreat. And they just think it's the most profound, amazing experience, because it's also guided by you, Sammy, and you have a beautiful way of leading people through such a vulnerable process as well. So yeah, it's quite the day. And as you know, we finish the full day retreats at a sunset rooftop, where we go through just a beautiful cacao ceremony with a bit of a stretch and flow that I guide the ladies through to get back into their heart space and body. But the next retreat's going to be a bit different, as
Yes,
we know.
please tell us all about it. Before you actually say anything, I just wanted to talk about transformation a wee bit, because the actual meaning around transformation is the beginning of. And so I look at transformation and I think it is the beginning of the new body, or the new us. And it's so exciting. And I know what you mean by it being such a light word. A lot of people use it very, very flippantly, when it is actually an enormous thing that is happening for us. If you think of a butterfly in transformation, it's not a comfortable process. Once they go into a chrysalis, they actually become goo inside before they become this translucent, a beautiful piece of artwork that flies through the sky and only has a short time to be here. So I really think we need to think about this when we're looking at the retreat that you're about to hold on the 24th of Feb. Transformation can sometimes, it can also be quite a quick thing. It can just take one element of learning during a day to totally switch your life. And this has happened for people on your retreat. In a short amount of time, all of a sudden, there has been one bit of wisdom that has been there for them and has gone and transformed their life. And it's huge. So, really think about, listeners out there, when you talk about transformation, you are going through something that is enormous but can happen in the twinkling of an eye. So let's go back into what is going to be happening at this retreat on the 24th.
Oh my God, so well said, by the way. That is like kudos to you, Sammy. So this next retreat, it's a half-day retreat. So we've designed this one as a morning retreat so more women can come to it. You know, I was finding a lot of women were like, oh, I'd love to be there. I just can't commit to a full day. Yet they know the importance of their well-being. They know the importance of their health, because at the end of the day, without our health, what do we really have? Like, what do we really have without our health? So it's an opportunity for women to come and just spend the morning to ground, to release anything that is no longer serving them, to let go of the heaviness that this world can put on us. And like you kind of said, like with the transformation piece, we often think that things have to be hard. In order to have something, it has to be hard. We have to hustle and we have to grind, which is, you know, what society expects us to do. If we want the promotion, we have to grind and hustle and, you know, work after hours, you know. And like, I want to see this be the shift in women's health. Like, you don't have to do all the hustle and the grind in order to achieve something. There's so many different modalities out there that can support your growth and your development, even if it's like you just said, if it's just hearing something and it just shifts your perspective and shifts your mindset. Like, it can be that simple. So it's really taking the hard out of the easy and the flow, which is what we really encourage. So the retreat, it does start, like you mentioned, it starts on the beach with a guided meditation to create coherence for each of our guests. So connecting the heart and the mind together for a most grounded, centered day, so that women can have a really beautiful experience, and that they're not spending most of their time up in their head like a lot of people do. A lot of people spend their time up in their head and they overthink and they overanalyze and they think, what's that person thinking of me, and all this sort of thing. So it does create a really healthy balance for each of our guests, and that will be guided by Brooke, and Brooke is a breathwork facilitator as well. So she will be taking the guided meditation, and then we're actually going to be moving straight into a yoga practice, which again is not just your typical like stretch and flow kind of session. Like, it's a deep and meaningful yoga where we move through a lot of poses that have meaning and are guided by my all-time favorite yoga teacher. And I'll always say this, probably for the listeners hearing this who have heard me speak, they're probably going to eye roll me at saying this, but finding a yoga teacher who is embodied in their practices, but also can connect with each of their students is so powerful. And for me, it's like finding a yoga teacher is like finding a needle in a haystack. There is a lot of yoga teachers out there, like personal trainers, but it's actually finding that one person who really gets it. And I found that in our yoga teacher that comes to our retreats, Ian. He is beautiful and connects really well with each of the guests. Also on an energetic level is probably what I want to add in there as well. So we have a yoga experience, and then we're going to be moving into a sweat session on the beach with our beautiful head trainer, Meg. So Meg is like a dynamite. She's amazing. She caters for all fitness levels, all fitness types. Like, we adjust and tweak where we need to for each of our guests to make sure that they are walking away feeling like they're accomplished, that they've just completely stepped out of their comfort zone and they've got the endorphins rushing and experiencing all the beautiful happy hormones as well. So I think that also is a really great little icebreaker for all of our guests to be able to mingle with each other and they're all bonding over the same thing, like doing burpees on the beach or running from flag to flag. Like, it gets to be lots of fun. So, we'll have a sweat session on the beach and then a wholesome brekkie. And then we're going to move into our second location for the day, where I will lead our girls, or our guests, our women, through a beautiful wellness workshop, or we might like to call it a seminar, where there's going to be plenty of golden nuggets for each of our beautiful guests to take away, that's going to improve their health and their fitness and their just overall quality of life. Where I will be speaking about the 7 health principles and how to embody those in the most simple way, including mindset. That's a really big component of what I'll be talking about, and understanding the mind and how limiting beliefs and blocks do create, stagnant, what's the word I'm after?
Probably
Stagnation in
energy.
our life.
Yeah, energy,
Yeah,
because we know where our intentions go, energy flows. So if we have that block there ain't nothing moving.
exactly. And having worked with women over the past 5-6 years now, it's so evident and it's so easy to see when they're blocking themselves, or when they're up in their head, or even just like the smallest of things of how they're speaking, like externally, and where their focus is going. Because so often people know what they don't want, but they don't know what they do want. So they're going to get more of what they don't want because they're focused on what they don't want, right? So I'll be
Absolutely.
diving into a lot of that as well, including just health, nutrition, all the things that are really going to leave people feeling more empowered, before then finishing off the day with your beautiful breath work and ice bath session for everyone to connect that a little bit deeper as well.
Amazing. So there is going to be a lot packed in to half a day. But that's exciting. That is exciting. That is a whole heap of information, whole heap of inspiration that could possibly be life changing. Just even if it's just one thing. Now, the second location that you're going to, where is that? Because I'm going to be putting all of these handles for all of these incredible places that you're going to, and these incredible people that are going to be here.
Yes. So shout out to Active Burley. Active Burley is one of my favorite gyms on the coast. It's where I train with our other facilitator, Brooke. Love it in there. And the owner, Bart, he is an incredible guy. He has given us the green light to use the space for the retreat. So that's where we're going to be able to host our workshop and our ice baths and all the things, where there's plenty of space, plenty of parking. It's a good vibe in there. It's a really good
It
energy, which is
is.
something that I was really mindful of when choosing the second location, because I do want it to be quite exclusive and quite private, as we're both well aware of energy interference and all the things.
Yeah. We are. So, all right, we're starting to wind down now, but there are a couple of things I still want to ask you. So, first of all, for all of you out there, the 24th of February is the day, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. This is my third retreat with you, and they just get better and better. And the people that have been to these retreats so far that I've been able to meet through you have just been incredible women, and they're still coming in. At the moment, there are tickets available, and it is pretty exciting to see everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, because this is definitely worth it. What are your intentions for the rest of the year? So I know that we talked about this in an ice bar at the
Yeah.
last retreat. We talked about what you were going to call in. And so, what are you looking at this year? Because you know what, as I'm talking to you now, I've just had the hugest download come in that I'm going to have to talk to you about after. But yes, what are you thinking? What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, Sammy, I love this. And the first thing that came up, so I'm someone that doesn't like to often share my goals until they're in fruition. But this one, I'm more than happy to, because I already see the trajectory of where it's going. And I
Yeah.
want to give it some context as well, because I think that's really important. And for a lot of entrepreneurs out there, I think this is going to be important as well. So look, the first year when I went online full time with Indi Active, I did quite well financially and very unexpectedly. It wasn't my intention at all to make the first 6 figures during COVID. And during that, you could probably say I wasn't exactly very financially intelligent. I was like this young 22-year-old that was just like, oh my gosh, all this money, amazing. And then it was out the door before I even knew. So then I went through quite a journey with my money relationship. And last year I was like, right, this year I'm going to make a certain amount of figures, and that's what this is how it's going to happen, and this is what I'm going to do, and da 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 da. And I tried to force and control and manipulate the situation, which brings a lot of unloving energy, but I wasn't doing it in the sense of I want money because it was more of like what money will give me, but I was giving money the focus rather than giving the feeling the focus, the freedom, the generosity, being able to give and, receive and that sort of thing. So this year my perspective has really changed. And this year my focus and my intention is to add $1 million worth of value. So whether that is through coaching, whether that's through retreats, free ebooks, online courses, programs, masterclasses, all the things, like for me, that's the thing. But doing it from a place of complete service, and because I want to share my knowledge and my wisdom and show up in ways that I know through my energy alone, I can support people rather than just, kind of showing up when it feels good. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the biggest intention, is just adding value, being of service. And most importantly, the thing that keeps coming through for me this year already is a lot of the self-acceptance and being okay with where I am at. And that's probably the biggest thing as an entrepreneur. You're always reflecting, but it can also be in ways that's a detriment, and you want to be further along and you want to have achieved more, and life happens and you go on a healing journey. And as much as it feels like you're getting pulled backwards, you're really not. It's kind of like a bow and arrow. You got to be pulled back in order to be shot forward. And I feel like this year it's the shooting forward. So yeah, that's my intention.
Yeah. So how many more Indie Active retreats can we expect this year?
Ideally, it would be amazing to have 3, and I can see 3 happening. We've got another full day happening in May, another one in November, and then potentially an early beach retreat for 4 days. Yeah, in November, when there's not a monsoon like the last one we hosted in Early Beach.
I've got a couple more questions for you before we close today. And I'm so grateful that you have been able to take the time out today to speak with me. And I'm so grateful that I can go and put this up Thursday night, and people are going to be able to feel into it, and feel into the incredible person that you are and the intentions that you have, which are absolutely noble and kind and empowering in every way, shape, and form. And this is exactly what you extend out on the days of retreat as well. As a coach, as a person in general, that is who you are. So I ask everybody before they end their podcast with me, what are your 3 non-negotiables?
I love this question. I'm a non-negotiable queen. My 3 daily non-negotiables is movement, connection, and it's funny because I've just been doing business non-negotiables. So I've got my business non-negotiables in my mind. So yeah, movement, connection, and adding value.
Beautiful. Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that will relate to that. So as I close up today, I just want to ask you if you would like to just put out a little call, because as we call out into the universe, everything comes to us as limitless beings. A little call out to people to let them know what's your intention with this indie. Is there actually, because you have had intentions with the last ones, there's been a theme. Is there a theme with this one? And yeah, just call in whatever it is that you need, knowing that without a doubt you will receive.
Oh, beautiful. The theme for this retreat is reset and realign. So resetting our energy beings after the chaotic, probably couple of months it's been for people to start the year. You know, there's a lot of pressure on people to have to get it right and be perfect. So I feel like it's come at a really beautiful time for people to just reset their energy and realign with focusing on what it is that they do want for the year and their health and their wellness. And I'm calling in beautiful aligned women that really feel called to step up in their health and their wellness for themselves, not just for their families, not just to be better in their careers, but genuinely for themselves. Whether that is joining an Indi Active retreat, whether that is joining your retreat coming up, you know, your beautiful transformational retreat, whether that is signing up with a wellness coach, like however it may feel and look for them, I just encourage every single woman to be better for themselves, no one else but for themselves. And if you feel called to come to the Indi Active retreat, we will happily open our hearts and our arms to welcome you in to our beautiful morning.
Absolutely. We'll love all over you. So get ready.
That's one of the best things I love about our retreats is like everyone kind of comes in like, what am I to expect here? And then they leave and they're like, I don't want to leave. I love everyone.
At the end of it, honestly, everyone is hugging each other. You know, if that like gives you the ooze, then you probably need to come.
Yeah.
Because you probably need some loving in your life because I mean, that is you anyway. You are love.
Yeah.
So just to end, I always do, and of course, an intuitive oil. So all of you know, I love essential oils. It's the original ancient medicine of Mother Earth. And as Brie spoke about, she actually went on a really holistic journey with her health as a teenager, especially, and steered away except for when needed, because we know that there is a place for pharmaceuticals in life, and I'm so thankful for the medical system. I was a nurse at one stage there, but I do an intuitive pull, and it's funny because I was telling Brie, I pulled this first oil, and I started reading about it. I went, no, pretty sure this one's for me because I had a real doozy of a day yesterday, and I was like, Sam, you need to clear your energy right now before you do anything with anyone else.
Yeah.
But the oil that came up for you was Manuka,
Oh, beautiful.
and it's such an incredible healer. So this can be used, you can actually use this topically, but Manuka, when I think about it, it is the great healer that gets in there and weaves its way, just like honey weaves its way through honeycomb and goes and places healing into places that it needs to go. And I think of you as being Manuka, weaving your magic throughout this world. And I'm not just talking Gold Coast, Victoria, I'm talking the world, because this interaction here and your podcast, they are worldwide for everyone to see if they choose. And what you are doing is spreading your medicine throughout the world. It does say here that this is all about you being known by the divine. So Manuka comes to you to tell you that you are known by the divine, and that as long as you sit in a place of gratitude and you sit in a place of being able to receive, especially with this retreat coming up, when you breathe, place yourself in an absolute, and you can do this in your meditation, and everyone can do this in their meditation, in a place of total receptivity, without doubt, without ego, without any of the humanness that comes along. You can receive absolutely anything. And, you know, eventually what we're aiming for is transcendence, aren't we? Which Manuka is all about transcendence as well.
Enlightenment.
Yeah, so I love it that Manuka's come up for you today. And I could do 100 podcasts with you. I've actually talked to, so for you, for those of you that don't know, Justin, who is going to be, has facilitated at other retreats, is actually, and I can say this because then it's totally non-biased, is actually Brie's partner. And he is just one exceptional human being. And I often will jump off podcasts or when we spend time together and we'll talk for ages and yes, well, I shouldn't get too revealing, but he will jump on and look, I'm going to do a podcast with both of them because it's like this big bounce of energy and just absolute wisdom. Even if he walks in his undies, it's okay.
That's pretty standard. Absolutely. Shirtless in his pink little boxes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be the most healing possible thing is I feel as though he is just this hidden gem. And it's like, I'm so fortunate enough to just even overhear some of the conversations that he has, on calls with clients or him just speaking. And before I know it, I'll be on a call with one of my beautiful clients and I'll be saying something similar. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I sound like Justin. But of course it comes with full and absolute embodiment, to our practices. And, our last holiday or our last trip that we went on to Melbourne absolutely tested us in our true essence and our embodiment of what we do and what we teach. And it only brought us closer together, which I'm sure he'd be very excited to chat about.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you both. It'll be a heap of fun. But I want you to know, Brie, that you are a hidden gem and that I look at you at the age you are now and I think, wow, when you're my age, because I could basically be your mum, I definitely would. I have a son your age. But you are, I mean, I think you're a powerhouse now. Imagine 25 years from now, what you are going to be creating for this world when you are creating such magic now. So thank you. Thank you for coming and speaking with me today and talking about what is going to be the most beautiful offering to humanity and the things you are doing for humanity now. I just feel so privileged to be a part of your world. And thank you for being on today.
Thank you, Sammy, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your world. It's a true honor, and to see your magic and your gifts being expressed to all the guests that come to our Indi Active retreats is truly phenomenal. And I'm so grateful to be able to call you one of my amazing facilitators.
Beautiful. I want everyone to remember that, when we're going and we're extending this love and this appreciation to each other, we're absolutely a reflection of each other. So when you are going extending something to someone and you're thinking how incredible are, it's actually a reflection of yourself. So thank you, listeners, for being here today. Thank you for allowing yourself to come and delve into Brie's world. And she's really, really given a lot of, you've been quite vulnerable today, Brie. And this is part of her medicine, that she is able to be absolutely authentic in all that she does. And this is what we need more of in the world. So make sure that you go and like and subscribe below so that you can listen to her and so many other people, including definitely Brie and Justin will be on at some stage here on Ley Lines. Love you, geeks. Thank you.